all short.
One game to decide it all. Elimination match here. 2 #1 seeds. LYON trying to do what the LCS has not been able to do in so long. They will bet their fates on second pick here. Blue side with an over 70% win rate so far at the tournament. And they have selected second pick, which means HLE will get first pick, and they have chosen blue.
And now this is where you find out exactly what you're made of. Is it nervousness or is it excitement? Is it fight or is it flight? The LCS stands poised to make history, but they need to do it against the #1 seed from the LCK, against that record you just said, Azael.
Okay, we've got Vayne, Varus, and Bard banned out by HLE. We've got Cassio, Seraphine, and Nard banned out by LYON. And it's a first pick Kalista for Gumayusi.
And the answers are not that easy here, because a lot of these kind of strong laners, survivable laners, you think, okay, you sit back, you farm it out, but a lot of that stuff is all gone, right? There are hyper carries that Berserker is known for, that he's made his career on. You could go Yunara Lulu, you can go picks like this. But are you willing to risk going into the Gumayusi Kalista?
Oh, they take the Renata.
And they're going to take the Renata, and I think that means they are going to go hyper carry. I think that they are going to go for that more defensive side. They take this away, but of course you can still go some of the aggressive pairings here. Nautilus is still up and available and unbanned. So you can go Kalista Nautilus, you can go Kalista Blitz, you can go a lot of these aggressive pairings, and we will see. It's going to be about, can Berserker withstand the onslaught in that bot lane?
I'm curious what he'll decide to play, but we are going to see the Shen locked in before an AD carry here.
It's a two-way flex. It can be jungle, it can be top, so we'll find out where they want to send it. Zhao is up and available, and so they didn't decide to go for that.
I think it's also just trying to give that protection to the bottom lane, right? Once you get to that level 6, if that all-in comes through. But this was the mid laner that I had my eyes on. The Ahri going to be hovered here for Zeka. One of the last remaining top-tier picks, it feels like, in that mid lane, and something that opens up a lot of playmaking for Kanavi.
I really wonder, would they go towards something like the Sivir here? You know, they did bring it out in that BLG series. Berserker was at a good spot, and Sivir is a champion that can sometimes withstand the difficult matchup simply through wave clear, right? If you're not actually dying early, you get to a point where you're just one-shotting the waves, can be difficult, and it is the Blitz that I had called out. They do not decide to go for the Nautilus. Blitz ult, though, is crazy to steal a Sylas. There's a fat AP ratio. It's an AoE silence. It's great against a lot of these champs. And the Ahri ult, also powerful to steal.
Plus, you've got Renata to keep you alive, Shen to keep you alive. There is so much here that Saint could work off of. And after his performance yesterday, this could be his moment to shine again.
I mean, I love the Sylas here, but still, you are so nervous if you are the LYON bot lane. Yeah, great. If we get to 5v5s on even keel and you have Berserker on hypercarry, you're feeling good. But this is Blitz Kalista, and we are in Game 5 Fearless with 2 AD carry bans, 8 already out of the pool from earlier, including the AP carries. And I think it's going to be tough. You know, they can look towards things like Tristana and try to buffer the hooks. I think that could be an angle. You could look towards Sivir, as I said, but I'm expecting that'll be banned because Spell Shield, very powerful against Blitz.
Yep.
You can
Xayah is the other thing I'm in my head for the level 6. You could try and get away with the Featherstorm, but yeah, you're lacking.
I'm worrying so much in the pre-6,
exactly,
right? And so I wouldn't expect Azael, but yeah, it's the options are not easy, right? As I said, this guy was famous for his Zeri, for his picks along those lines. That is how he became known. It's all about the hypercarry. The Sivir I expect to be banned is going to be banned, and they're going to ban out the Trundle and probably the Xin here as well, I would expect.
Maybe Corki is another one you can go for with the Valkyrie. It's kind of fallen out of meta at this stage, though.
It's tough. I mean, I kind of am feeling the Trist, but Trist early game is very weak. You would have to be basically saying it's survival. We just try to hang on, and we get to a point where we can survive, because the nice thing about the Trist is you can buffer the hook, right? And that is really, really key. The Renata plays behind you. You try to buffer the hook. Wukong going to be banned out instead, so you're expecting Kanavi could go to Xin, but Kanavi's been so stellar on these playmakers when you think about the Vi, when you think about the Nefiri.
One thing about Xin, though, Sylas loves his ultimate. That's another thing that you have to be careful of, those defensive ultimates. Alistar obviously not available because that's already been eliminated through Fearless, but Xin Zhao's ulti allows Saint so much power in the team fight. Olaf going to be the final ban instead here from HLE.
Yeah, the thing is though, Kanavi's champion pool is absolutely insane. Like, I've seen this man play Kha'Zix, I cast him play Shaco in the LPL. Like, this man goes into the depths that you don't expect him to, so there is going to be so much that he's able to bring to the table.
I feel like if you're going this, I don't believe it. I believe this more, but I am really, really worried about how the early levels are going to go. You don't have the rocket jump. You don't have the safety of a spell shield if Sivir wasn't banned. You don't have a lot of those tools. Shyvana, I don't think so. My understanding is that the Sylas ult stealing the Shyvana ult is crazy good, so I would be surprised if he went that way, but I'm not as familiar with the interaction.
No, it's a ton of damage. Like, you can one-shot 3 people in insane fashion.
And you get the fear as well.
Yeah, exactly,
like,
yeah. This would make more sense.
Kanavi Nidalee in Game 5.
The Renekton is still up. Renekton Nidalee.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a Game 5 Renekton Nidalee. They're going to go for it because, yeah, Renekton is still up and available, wasn't banned, and was not picked. And that is the throwback. Wait. I would be out. Okay.
Wow.
No, it's not. It's the Aatrox instead for Zeus in the final game.
I'm shocked. I think he thinks it's the Shen top.
Exactly. I was going to say.
Aatrox is way better into Shen, but I think this is going to be a Shen jungle now, and I think they're going to give the counter pick to Dhokla.
The Shen jungle is tough, though, against the Nidalee. Your clear speed is just not that good. I think, yeah, you kind of, like, yes, you will have the matchups to try and play around, but I think Nidalee can just take your jungle so quickly, especially you go low on that first clear.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, but you're balancing a lot of different things now, right?
Yeah.
So now you are betting your Game 5 on what I believe to be a hard losing bot lane, a hard losing top lane, and an early, pretty hard losing mid lane. So you're kind of drafting 3 losing lanes here and saying, if we can hang on, we should win, because you're looking at Blitz and Nidalee and Kalista and champions that don't get that much guaranteed value. There's not even great setup, and Ahri Nidalee is a horrendous 2v2 combo.
Yeah.
So if they can hang on, you could win this game in the 5v5, but a lot of questions to be answered before you get there. It is so hard to play Shen into Aatrox. It is so hard, I feel like, to play this Xayah into this Kalista Blitz.
And up against Blitzcrank, a champion that warps the game around himself in a bit of a way, right? Blitz utterly useless if he can't hit pulls, but the threat of that pull is such a different type of threat compared to almost everything else in the game. Even hooks like Pike or like Nautilus doesn't bring you near as far as what Blitzcrank can do, and if LYON aren't respecting it, we know Delight is a playmaker, especially with the way that he likes to roam around the map and affect the top side. Blitzcrank early roams can be nightmarish.
Once more, NA has pushed the LCK to a Game 5. Once more, Inspired must try and find the success on the Xin Zhao to keep the NA train rolling. The Daejeon doubters have been there, but this would be a story for the history books.
I mean, it would. It would be a run where you have now beat 4 #1 seeds at MSI as NA. They took down Furia, they took down TSW, they took down G2. If you win here, you have knocked out 4 of the other 5 #1 seeds from the tournament. The only one remaining would be the one waiting in the finals in BLG. It would be unequivocally the greatest performance we have ever seen from an NA team.
But it's a lot easier said than done. You're talking about HLE. You're talking about the #1 seed of the LCK. You're talking about players who individually have so many accomplishments. People talk about playing with the nameplates off, but the nameplates are still there. Nice pull coming out from Delight onto Isles nice and early, but Gumayusi has also already taken some trade damage.
Exactly, and the level 1 there, a little bit tough for Blitz, and they just play in the wave, they get the shove, they utilize that range support advantage here, so even though the hook comes down, there's not that much threat, but Saint, he's going to have to hold on as well, a master of these melee matchups here. Xayah is taking a horrible trade.
Yeah, Dhokla hits the taunt, brings the Aatrox down to 200 HP.
And look at the pathing from Inspired. 3 camp into this top side. Could look for the potential play or just an invade off the back of this.
I mean, Dhokla could kill him solo. Taunt Flash kills, I think, at this HP. It is close, though. Xayah did pop his pot and has healed up. Dhokla, I don't think, going to want to send it on a Taunt Flash, but we are seeing an early base from Inspired, so he's going to go for that early base here and try to be there, likely to cover bot.
Yep, exactly. It's the plan where you clear one side of your jungle, you make your first purchase. Usually you see Longsword being the choice on that one. Instead, going to go for the Ruby Crystal. Dhokla goes in, finds the taunt yet again. Zeus trying to get away there, but Dhokla brings him down to 100 HP. This Shen matchup going well for LYON here early on.
I mean, this is brilliantly played from Dhokla. The easiest part of the matchup is the early levels. It really does get difficult as you get more points in that queue for Zeus, and as the cooldowns become shorter and shorter, those windows of opportunity are very hard for Shen. And if you ever get knocked out of your taunt, it is a disaster. If you get hit by a sweet spot as you're taunting in, you are trapped there, you are chased down by the Infernal Chains, and that is where it can become so tough. But Dhokla laning brilliantly to start things off, and he has a better buy as an advantage. Gets that refillable plus that Ruby Crystal.
And holds on to the TP crucially as well, so very big start for the LYON top laner. Already we're seeing kind of movement here from Saint just to make sure that the Scuttle Crab went to Inspired, but Kanavi happy to handshake that on the top end. Is giving Berserker a bit of time to push in on the bot side as well, get his own reset. So a slower pace early game, favoring LYON thus far.
Yeah, it absolutely is. The question is, how much do you have to give, and how much can you give to be able to have a good chance in the team fights, right? LYON have to be able to make that judgment. If the lanes just continue as is, this is fantastic for them, but HLE are going to look for plays. You've got Nidalee, you've got Blitz, and Saint respecting.
Yep, Saint does not want to get caught off guard by Kanavi here. Also worth pointing out, I want to shout out the exhaust on Berserker. I feel like against Kalista, where so much of her damage comes from that big blast from Lend, a properly timed exhaust can turn a fight.
I agree completely. I mean, he used it very effectively in his Ezreal games, and not even just the Kalista, but it's great on Kanavi, it's great on Zeus, it's great on Zeka.
Ooh, nice pull from Delight. It doesn't turn into a whole lot, but he still gets a good chunk of damage there on Berserker as Gumayusi hits him with the Pierce at the very end.
Yeah, not the end of the road for Berserker. Kind of knew that Gumayusi wasn't that far away, so doesn't burn anything to make that play extended or defended, so just manages to step away. And I think this is where, again, if Gumayusi and Delight get some poke, not the end of the world. You've got the pots, you can heal it up. It's more a case of if Kanavi ends up down on that bot side and you get a good hook, that's immediately into the spear, and that can be the devastating play.
Or if you're overextended, you get too far up in that lane, and then all of a sudden you get hooked in, you get chased down, the spears are stacked, and Kanavi is going to be on his way down towards this bot side. That Vision Plant was hit by Delight, so they don't know. He could actually hook over the wall potentially here. Isles maybe sussing it out, but if he gets too close, he could just be dead.
Yup, they're waiting for the minions to pass. Delight still waiting there, fires off the hook, and he grabs himself Isles. HLE, they don't find the kill. Isles stays alive with a heal and the flash, and he'll be able to walk it off. Now back in the mid lane, Saint trying to get something onto Zeka, but he's level 5 against level 6. The Ignite prevents the Kingslayer from doing a lot of healing. Saint's out of health, out of mana. Saint just trying to style on him a little bit as Delight rotates back over. Saint's feeling it, but he's got to be careful.
Saint knew he needed to go for the all-in with the Ignite down. It would have been lights out if he ended up trying to step away, but gets the heal, gets the trade, and gets to go back.
And I mean, surviving there for Saint is so massive. That is Zeka's ult and flash down.
Yeah, but now Berserker forced to flash as Delight uses his own to threaten a grab. Berserker staying safe, but down to 200 HP without that summoner spell is dicey.
I mean, Saint down in farm big time now. So now these goldies starting to open up a bit here. Inspired wants to go for the early dragon, knowing that it is going to be a reset for Delight, and that Zeka has no Ignite, no ult, but instead deciding to pull off it here once again.
And Azael, you talked about how all these lanes early on are going to be losing matchups for the side of LYON. HLE up to a few hundred gold of an early laning advantage. The biggest difference here in mid lane, 60 to 44 in terms of farm count, as Zeka has been controlling this head-to-head. Obviously, as the game goes forward, Saint is going to look to be the X factor in the team fights.
Yeah, exactly. And Saint is going to be getting stronger and stronger here. Guma and Delight looking.
Yeah, Delight goes right on in, just walks up and knocks Berserker up into the air, but a beautiful handshake coming out from Isles. The Shen ulti, stand united, but Berserker is first blooded by Delight. Dhokla couldn't complete the ulti because he's interrupted by Zeus. HLE coming out on top.
The interruption from Zeus turns everything. It looked like LYON might have been able to find the play, but it's the missed time on the ulti, denies the revive, denies the follow-up. It's, nearly a hook onto Isles as well.
Yeah, HLE, that is so big for them now. You get that kill. Fortunately for LYON, the gold did go to Delight, but it's a 1.4k gold lead here already.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be hard to withstand this onslaught. and they just play this out very well. He goes out into that alcove, Hex Flash over, gets straight in onto Berserker, and you go to live, and this is what the Shen versus Aatrox match usually looks like. You are stuck under your tower, and Guma's able to flash out with no health.
But you can see just barely
Bailout.
the bailout doesn't come through, and I think it was a little mistimed. You had that Shen ultimate come through at the same time as the bailout, so not quite able to make it happen. It was a good flash away from Gumayusi to turn the tides.
Yeah, it's hard to know in those situations, you know, in that panic moment. Did he use it too early? Was he worried about that Rend coming through a little bit quicker and maybe getting that kill? And now Dhokla. This is where it gets so tough. You get stuck under your tower, and you get the melees for free, but every time you try to farm a range minion in this matchup, you are just, it's fish in a barrel. He's just throwing Qs on the range minions over and over and over, and slowly but surely, Aatrox just builds a bigger and bigger lead. And it really is one of my least favorite Shen matchups, I think, in the game.
I know you play a lot of Shen.
They are trying to move him out of the matchup, though, and rotate Xayah up into this top end. Actually, just going to, HLE, going to not swap into it either. Kind of moving everyone up to fight for these Void Grubs.
Yep, you can see, though, you've still got Gumayusi on the bottom side of the rift. Dhokla also taking up his position down there, but he's got no stand united, he's got no teleport, so he won't be able to join for any sort of a fight, so HLE will continue to own the grubs.
And there's the charm hook.
Beautiful charm, and the follow-up with a grab. Zeka looking to make the play here on Saint, but he steals the Ahri ulti back away with the spear rush over the wall. Comes inspired, they get the kill, and Saint stays alive.
Lion sends up a prayer, and Saint will answer, and now Guma fighting Dhokla.
Yeah, Dhokla going in after this. Kalista needs a little bit more damage, but he cannot find it. Gumayusi already using the Rend. Down to 150 HP, but he stays alive as Delight rejoins his carry.
Great trade for Dhokla, though, because it means he gets to push in this wave. You've got the reset for the Kalista, and actually movement from line towards this top side. Delight just trying to stop this wave from crashing.
Yeah, Delight going to be trying to be as annoying as possible. Dhokla wants a plate, and I think he will be able to get it. And so he gets that plate, and if Dhokla can get towards that Titanic, that starts to mitigate a lot of the difficulties in these matchups because your wave clear becomes so powerful at that point.
You can see here, though, a Saint just underneath the tower. They think they have it with the charm, with the knock-up, but immediately Saint steals the old double dashes, and Zeka overextending with Inspired there to support the mid laner.
And watch Inspired in that moment. He has the presence of mind. He preps the Q3 knockup on the birds over the wall, flashes in, and immediately knocks up Zeka. Saint survives. They get that kill, and that is just so critical. Because you're already down 1.5k, you're trying to hold on. That is the objective here for LYON.
And Zeka has been such a playmaker for his teams in Game 5s. 9-2 in Game 5s. We've seen him win World Championships from this position, but Saint and Inspired able to stop him in his tracks there.
All right, Delight still potentially looking for angles down here in the bottom side. Kanavi is going to join up with his bottom lane duo, but Inspired is also in the area. Keep your eyes on Delight here.
This is a dangerous moment for LYON. Look at the top side of the map. 3 completed items for HLE, none until just now for Inspired. They are at their weakest right now.
And Zeus is looking strong here in this 1v1, continuing to find multiple good trades against Dhokla. Kanavi with his Lich Bane can chew through this dragon so easily, and HLE, again, it's not a fast first Drake, but it's an HLE first Drake.
But a slow first Drake is all that LYON want. Inspired here to cover the play. They want to cover everything from HLE. Will be Kanavi backing away. But as long as you keep this pace, I think you're kind of happy as LYON. Sure, it's a 1.7k gold lead, but most of that is top lane and not too advantageous right now.
Berserker utilizing his opportunity to step forward, try to trade aggressively a little bit into Delight, but the Blitzcrank isn't too bothered by it.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the vision from HLE across the river on both sides of the map. They have all the wards right now. It is full court press for HLE.
Yep, Delight now going to get jumped on by Inspired, who isn't going to full send anything here just yet, but a teleport coming in from HLE. Nice pull from Delight. He's hitting so many of these as Gumayusi tries to save his support. Zeus has already arrived, but Dhokla's ready to follow here with a Stand United. Saint also making his way down into the bot lane. Gumayusi barely survived. Saint takes him out, but LYON's in danger. They've already lost Inspired. They've already lost Isles. Zeus in the front line as a raid boss here with the Aatrox. Q3 won't find the target. target. He heals up with a massive. Xayah still staying alive for now. Triple kill back over to Zeka. HLE making the plays. Saint barely hanging on. Dhokla still alive for now, but Xayah refuses to die. HLE still looking for a little bit more, and Dhokla surely has no way out here. LYON staring down the barrel of a nearly impossible scenario. Blitzcrank hook fails. They're still trying to look, but this sequence means an over 3,000 gold lead for HLE.
This top lane god does not bleed. Xayah stays alive with Sundered Sky, with the Omnivamp, and LYON cannot defy him.
And it's by the slimmest of margins here. So many big plays from the HLE members as the initial fight looks like it's going to be pretty good. Inspire gets hooked in and says, okay, we just got to send it on to Gumayusi. Go straight in with the Stand United. They get the taunt flash from Dhokla here onto Guma, and they try to burst him down, but then in comes Xayah. The bailout onto Inspire does basically nothing, and now watch this hook in the later end of the fight. Xayah is getting incredibly low. Berserker flashes back, and this hook onto Saint, I think could be game winning because Saint was just about to kill Xayah, but with the hook from Delight, not only does Xayah live, Saint dies, and that might be the backbreaker right there.
The predict by Zeus on the flash as well keeps him in range for the Sundered Sky proc that lets the light keep him safe. HLE, the slimmest of margins, but those margins are growing. A 4,000 gold lead. Inspired running as Saint may be left here.
Delight with a 90% win rate on Blitzcrank in his career, and you can see why here in this game, landing so many hooks over and over and over. It's such a heaven or hell champion. You hit the hook, you're the MVP. You miss it, you're a cannon minion. And Delight is making so many plays. Your Coinbase gold grind showing another problem here for the LYON side, as Xayah is just such a monster here on this Aatrox.
Yeah, it's going to be so hard for LYON now. Feels like it's that 1% chance you're hoping for, as Saint might just get dove. They're looking.
He clears out the wave. Xayah backs away. Inspire jumps in after Kanavi. Blue smite. Flash away from Kanavi. Ooh. And Saint just barely misses hitting him with the abduct. Kanavi stays safe.
I cannot believe that didn't connect. Just tiny pixels away from maybe finding that kill onto the HLE jungler, but it still means pressure mid. They're getting plates for Gumayusi. They're keeping the pressure bot lane, and LYON are scrambling to keep pace.
LYON trying to defend this tier 1 turret here in mid. Kanavi, he's rescued by the McHales from Delight. This Blitzcrank is making such a difference time and time and time again. Kanavi once more, just fine.
I mean, Delight is just playing an absolutely brilliant game with the pressure on him. Elimination series here. There was 2 match points they had to contend with. They barely got by the last one, thanks to a big fight in that top side where they were able to take over. And this time, they were building that incremental gold lead. And again, it is one big fight that feels like it may have got them across the line.
HLE have hit their strides, push in side lanes, control for Zeus and Zeka, the ability to collapse around Gumayusi. This is where HLE have stood tall in the LCK, is the most threatening LCK representative. Rift Herald taken, the eye left.
And now Inspire just getting caught out. Could be in some danger. Stand United trying to keep him alive a little bit longer. Hostile takeover finding a little bit of value here as Kanavi is the first to die. Xayah in the middle of everybody, making some space. Inspire dies to Zeka, and it's the HLE solo laners making the difference again. Zeka finally falls, but he's gonna take Saint with him. Gumayusi still hopping around as Delight barely got away. Saint coming back in to get something, but Dhokla will not kill Delight, and only Saint and Isle still stand. Saint can't do anything in a 1v3, and Gumayusi executes him where he stands.
Delight again over the wall. This time it's Dhokla pulled into the tower when he thought he had Guma. But these solo laners from HLE are just too damn good.
You can throw every summoner spell on Zeus, but that man is never exhausted. As he flies into the midst of LYON, He absolutely tears them asunder. Zeka charms inspired. Zeus dives onto Berserker. The healing is absurd from this Aatrox. There is no taking down this HLE top laner.
They just don't have the damage. He keeps getting the resets, and the bailout from Isles there went on to Saint. You have to think it was meant for Berserker. Maybe that could have bought them a little time. If that expires and the hook doesn't land on Dhokla, maybe, just maybe there's a way. But every fight is pushing it further and further out of reach. It's a 7,000 gold lead, the largest of the series. For HLE, it feels like by far.
LYON coming in, trying to see if there's anything they can do, but no, instead, it's just another beautiful pull from Delight. Zeka arrives, Saint dies, the bailout does nothing. HLE pushed to the limit here against LYON, but with the threat of missing finals on the line, they refuse. 8,500 gold lead, HLE 11 kill.
When the chips are down, that's where champions are made, and HLE have them out the wazoo. They are playing out of their mind. Delight, these hooks, this Blitzcrank is defining this series.
It's breaking the back of an entire region here. This Blitzcrank is doing everything for HLE. And Zeus, with not a kill to his name, is 1.5k ahead. He's a brick wall in the top lane. They've got no healing debuffs for him in the fights. They're just so far behind. They're grasping at straws, trying to find a way in. But it's going to take a series of miracles for them to even have a chance.
They have Bramble Vest on Dhokla, but Bramble Vest is passive healing reduction. You have to hit him. There's no reason for Zeus to ever be doing that in these big fights. Sure, you can hit him with Qs, but there's no reason to ever hit an auto attack, so you just can't stop the regeneration.
And it's going to be harder to kill the squishies as well. Gumayusi picking up that Warden's Mail. He is going to be fairly tanky as LYON continue the pressure, but HLE will keep evading.
I mean, LYON are just going to keep full sending it. They know that you're 10k down. You cannot play the game normally.
Yeah.
They're trying to overload one side of the map. They're hoping that HLE gets sloppy, that they can get kill after kill after kill. But here comes HLE.
Yep, Delight finds another beautiful pull. Inspired, about to die. The Stand United tries to keep him alive, but no, Delight with the execution. Zeus arrives, wings spread wide, and LYON will be buried in the enemy jungle. 3 already dead as Saint and Dhokla have to try to escape. Gumayusi, Delight, and Zeka chasing after Saint. No matter how good his Sylas is, there's no way out. Dhokla trapped beneath 2 turrets is the only man left standing on LYON. And HLE get 5 for nothing.
There's no coming back for LYON. 20 minutes on the clock, an 11,000 gold lead. Immediate turn to Baron. HLE want the rematch with Billy Gaming.
And I think they're about to get it here. 20 minutes in, as you said, Baron, an 11,000 gold lead, and LYON can find no purchase in this game. They bet it all on their ability to withstand the onslaught that would be the early game here against HLE, but HLE in those critical fights just played better.
And you have to feel for Inspired. This man has pushed the LCK.
Oh, you have to feel for Berserker as well. Even tried to use the exhaust, but Zeka, he's so far ahead, he just instantly deletes the LYON AD carry.
And we get to see the replay here. Inspired on the ward, actually not even on a ward, there it is. Doesn't decide that he needs to back away, thinks he's got the support of LYON, thinks he's got that Shen ult. But everyone from HLE shows up. He falls only to watch the rest of his team go with them.
Yeah, and Isles trying as best he can, trying to keep Berserker alive. LYON are full sending it, and they know they would rather go out fighting, but they have to see the writing on the wall. They have to know that this one is one fight from ending. HLE pushing, they're trying to get gold on the map.
The writing is on the turrets now as Berserker is forced to ult immediately. Delight forcing out that critical defensive ultimate from the enemy AD carry as the bottom lane inhibitor is destroyed 21 minutes into the game. HLE now putting pressure on the mid lane. Second inhibitor about to fall. Delight looking for another pull. Instead just gets the knock up onto Dhokla as HLE dog piles in. Dokla's first to die, but he will not die alone. Inspired joins him as LYON panic and run back to the fountain. HLE will rise to the occasion. They will chase down the last kill in the fight. Zeus will not even fall. North America's dreams are dashed in Daejeon. LYON are vanquished. HLE are victorious, and they earn their place in the finals.
A rematch is waiting for HLE. The LPL Giants will take on the LCK first seed and show Daejeon what they're worth.
And HLE gonna look to end that golden road early for BLG, the winners of first end, the team that took them down in the upper bracket. It is revenge in the cards here for HLE. They're looking to knock them down a peg.
It wouldn't be the first time some of these players have done just that. They would love to do it again in front of a home crowd. But on the opposite side, for LYON, it is heartbreak for this team. I don't think anyone can doubt the run they've had here in Korea. One of the most impressive performances against an LCK first seed I have ever seen.
Absolutely. People questioned, were they lucky? Did they deserve to be here? And they prove without a question, without a shadow of a doubt, that they belong on this stage against teams like that.
And that's enough for us for now. Let's toss things back over to the analyst desk to wrap up the series.
The wait for the LCS remains in taking down that all-important LCK team. Inspired tried again and again. LYON and everyone, they truly fought like lions at this MSI championship. It is just that one hurdle, right? But it's almost impossible to describe